Good morning. Whoa. Try that again. Good morning. Hi. Good morning, cubies and newbies. Oh, Kitty's looking out the window. A leaf just fell. She's very excited. Good morning, cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine. I am the ABCube tutor. And this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. It's Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves, and that's all you need to solve every complexity of Rubik's Cube. Formula A brings the color to the top, Formula B moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you need to do. If you have a parity is where it looks like there's 2 pieces and only 2 pieces to move that need to be exchanged, and Formula B and other algorithms always move 3 pieces around, 3 or more. So if you only see 2, the third piece that you don't see is the layer that touches that parity. That row is a single quarter turn off. If you move that row a single quarter turn in either direction, the parity disappears, and you can solve the cube in that state, which I think is faster than doing the 4-second algorithm to keep everything else in place. So, good morning. How are we all doing? This is my 10 by 10. Somebody commented yesterday that I said that you cannot have a parity on the centers because each visible center piece, aside from the absolute center, is visually correct in one of 4 places, and the mathematics of the cube says that you can't put it together wrong. So that saves you time when you take the cube apart to clean it and put it back together again, is that the corners and the absolute center and the edges need to be correct, but the obliques, diagonals, the floating centers can be placed however they fit by color, or you don't have to sort it by color, just however they fit, and then you'll be able to solve it. The comment that I got was that you can have parities in the middle on shapeshifters, and I plead ignorance on that. I don't know shapeshifters very well, and so that's entirely possible. Someone should talk to me more about the shapeshifters, because I need to be educated on that. They said, hey, I don't want to be that guy, but you can get a parody. I'm like, don't apologize for educating me. How else am I going to learn? So yesterday I did the corners. The corners are correct to each other. And everything else except for the absolute center I do with Formula B. I do Formula A with the absolute center, and then I do everything else with Formula B, but you don't have to. Formula A does work on the one side, the first side you can use Formula A on. But Formula A does affect all 6 sides when you use it. So it only works on one center, on one face. If you try doing it again, it messes up that first face. But you can. I normally do set the edges with Formula B, and I will demonstrate. The corners dictate the color of the face, and I hold the cube so that yellow and white are left and right, and then I find a piece that is in the center area between the 2 outside corners, and I apply Formula B to it. The first thing I do is make the corners match the front. The second thing I do is I determine this piece I'm working on is red and white, so the red corners match the front, so it's going in the white direction, so it's going to this side. It's going to land on this row as opposed to landing on this row. So 1 row, 2 columns. The first column is where it's going to land, where I want it to land, and the second column is where it begins. So I'm going to do top row and this column, and I'm going to ignore the rest of the cube completely. So looking at Formula B, every other move is horizontal. Every other horizontal is the reverse of the one before it. For every up, there's a down. It's a commutator. So slide up, slide second up, reverse down, reverse down. And there it is, placed exactly where it wants to be, somewhere on that row, and it figures itself out. But that is 8 moves, and for the first face, you can do, I can do this white, for instance, using Formula A. And here's an example. Here's a white on my side, so it's going to be white and blue, so this piece is going to move up to here. So I will move this side so that when this piece comes up, it will land here. Okay, so this piece will come up and land yes, the cube locks up. Up here. Can't do it. Okay, and so Formula A, you take the piece that you're working with, you move it away from where it wants to end up. You bring the space down. You move the piece into the space, that's blue and white, moves in. And then this piece and the space go up. So I can do that for all of these white pieces that are on the sides. Okay, here's the red side. So I bring the red side down. I bring the white and red piece in, and I bring it up again. So it's out, down, and up. Away from the action, bring the space down, move the piece into the space, and there it is right there. So I can do that. I can do Formula A for the entire white side. And it's a shortcut to having to doing move for each piece, moving 8 moves. So here's an orange. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over to here. This piece will come over here and match the orange side. So I go down. I move the piece in and back up again. Okay, so it works on the corner, it works on the edges. I can also do it, this piece right here can come up and land right here. So I will move it away from the action. I'll move the space down. I'll move the piece back into the space, and the piece in the space back up again. So I can use Formula A for the entire white side, for the entire first side, whatever side I want that to be. And but after that, you go back, you go to Formula B, and Formula B moves 3 pieces around, and always 3 pieces around. And this is massive. I'm gonna go away from it now. All right, you guys, let's see. Who do we have here today? Doug, hi. Long time no see. All right, so I am back. 8 by 8 is the same principle as the 10 by 10. Anything that doesn't have an absolute center, you can use the Formula A for the first side. All right, so Formula A is 4 moves, 1 row, 1 column. And for the corners, it's the bottom row and the right column. For the centers, it's the middle row and the middle column. Away, down, in, up. And that's how you get boxes. Out, down, in, up. That's how you undo them. So, how's everybody doing? I got this one, I bought this one off the internet. I think it was eBay. And I think it was, I've looked at it, I think it was a McDonald's special. McDonald's toy. but I'm not sure on that. But this one is a little bit smaller than the plush toy that I got my grandbabies. The plush toy is a little bit big. It's a little bit bigger, and it doesn't have the metal, doesn't have the hard frame of the cube. But they're not making it anymore. So I was going to try to buy one for my other child's family, and they don't have it yet. So okay, so I did the corners yesterday. So yellow and white, holding left and right. And again, I was demonstrating that I can do Formula A for this cube. So if this piece wants to go up here between these two pieces, I move it away from the action, I move the space down, I move the piece into the space, and the piece in the space back up again. So here's another one. Here's a yellow one, orange one. It wants to go right there. So I move it away, down, in, up. Okay, and there it is right there. Anything else on the sides? Here's a blue. Okay, so I'll bring the blue to the top. So this piece wants to come up there. So I move it away from the action, I move the space down, I move the cube into the space, and the cube in the space back up again. So I'm using Formula A to do the first layer, but only the first layer. It doesn't work on other layers. And here's another example. These pieces, I move them away, I move the space down, I move them into the space, and back up again. So it works with the entire first layer. Here's an orange. So this one wants to go here. Away, down, in, up. Okay, here's one. It wants to go up here, so I move it away, down, in, up. Here's another blue. Here's a blue. It wants to go right there. Away, down, in, up. Here's a green one. Bring it under where it wants to be. Move it away, bring the space down, move it in, and back up again. So here's a red, bring it under where it wants to be, away, down, in, up, and there. This one wants to go there, and everything else is done. So I can do two things. I can move this to the side using B and then place it from the side in, or I can move it to the opposite side here using B. And then I can do Formula A to get it back to the top. Out, down, in, up. So I saved 4 moves doing it that way. So corners are done. One face is done. But the next thing, the order of operations that I usually do is I do corners, then opposite edges. So these opposite edges are done. I'm going to do the yellows now as well. So I look in the middle, and I find a piece. Now I'm back to move. You can only use A on one layer, on one face, for the centers and edges. For everything, then we're back to Formula B again. So I bring the corners to match the front. I determine it's going in this direction. So first I start by moving it away from the action. So away, first up is where it's going to land, back, second up is where it begins, and then finish the formula down, and that's done. Here is another piece. Make the corners match the front, determine its direction, start by moving away, first up, in, second up, away, first down, in, second down. And we're just placing, I'm not pairing the edges up before I place them. That seems to me to be a double effort, and it spends time looking for the other piece as opposed to just finding a piece, throwing it in the direction, excuse me. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. So instead of looking for the matching pieces, I just place them one at a time and they match themselves up. It saved me time looking. Speaking as if I were a speed cuber, I'm not a speed cuber. So corners match the front. It goes in this direction, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And that is placed. Looking for more yellows. Yellow or white. White's already done, so I'm looking for yellows. Corners match the front. And the top row, 2 columns are where it's going to land and where it begins. So I'm just using these 2 columns. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down, and that piece is placed. And I keep my yellow and white left and right, and I'm looking for more yellow or whites from the middle. I bring the corners to match the front. It's going in this direction, so first column, second column. Stop moving. My camera is moving. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Kitty, what do you... No. No. Kitties. Oh my goodness. All right, any more yellows in the middle? Yellow or whites in the middle? No. So I'd look. The whites are done. The yellows are correct. Yellow edges are correct. And so, so the first step I do is corners. First 4 corners, second 4 corners, and then the corners dictate the colors. And then I do the opposite edges, white and yellow. And then I put my white face down and I work on the side edges. And I do that by displacing one of my yellows. And as I'm going to displace this, which is going to put one of these up to the top where I can work with it, yellow is going to be face down until I finish the cage. So I'm going to find a piece that's wrong, either one of these pieces, and I displace a yellow into this space so that this space will go to the top where it can be worked on. So this is my first column, and the second column, this one will tell me where it is. So up, and then it's this column, second column, and down and down. And you'll notice that my white edges are done to keep me, they're there as a visual clue to keep me on track of which columns I'm using, which doesn't really matter for the 4x4, but is incredibly important for the larger cubes because it's easy to get lost on which your 2 columns are. And with the edges being done, is your visual clue on that. So white is face down. I'm leaving white face down. White's my visual clue. I'm looking for the piece on top that's not yellow, so the piece on top that doesn't belong on top. And here we have a piece. And so I hold the top, I rotate the entire cube, the rest of the cube, until the corners match the front. So this is red, so I need to bring the red corners to the front. Okay, so the corners match the front. I'm ignoring everything on top except for the one piece I'm working with. So so the corners I'm concerned with are the ones on the bottom. So corners match the front. It's going in the blue direction. This is the green direction, so this is the blue direction. So this is my first column, this is my second column. Top row. Away, first up, in, second up, away, first down, in, second down. And again, the white is there as my visual clue to remind me which rows I'm on so I don't get lost. And then I look for another piece on top that doesn't belong. This one doesn't have yellow. So I hold the top row, bring the rest of the cube until the corners match the front. Determine it's going in the green direction, so first column, second column. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. And that is placed. And then look for another piece. Doug says, hi. Hi, Doug. I'm back. I've recovered from my fall. Okay, so we've got blues on, front color is blue. Move the corners to match the front color. It's going the yellow direction this way. So first column, second column. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Doug, I'll ask you, how conversant are you? Are you conversant with shapeshifters? Because I do not have experience with shapeshifters, shapeshifter cubes. Like the square one just kicked my butt. I couldn't solve it. But I was talking to someone yesterday about on my 10 by 10. Someone commented on my video. You can solve the square one. Someone commented on my video. I was saying that you can't get parodies on the center pieces because each piece can be visually correct in one of 4 places, and the mathematics of the cubes works out that you can't ever have 2 pieces out of place. It'll look like 2, but the 2 of them are the same color, so you're actually moving 3 pieces. And someone told me that you can get a parody on the center pieces with the shapeshifters. And I don't know anything about shapeshifters, so do you know what that is about? And can you enlighten me on how that could be? Okay, so your white's on the bottom. Green and red does not have yellow. Corners match the front. It's going in the red direction. So first column, second column. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. So what I was saying was that when you take a big cube apart, anything that's bigger than the 3 by 3, and then when you put it back together again, you have to put the corners and the edges in the right place and the absolute center in the right place. But any centerpiece that can rotate, that can move around, can be placed just by shape, and you'll always be able to solve it without a parity because of the mathematics of the cube. Where, I mean, if this can only be correct in one place, then yes, you can get a parity. But if it can be correct here or here or here or here, then the mathematics is large enough that you don't get a parity. So I'm a shapeshifter. Haven't taken apart and put back together successfully, so I don't know what I'm talking about there. All right, so our yellow came back to the top. It'll either come back to the top in the correct place or it'll come back to the top with a parity, but the yellow came back to the top. And when the yellow comes back to the top, then I check to see if the sides are correct. These 2 are correct. These 2 are not. Yes, they are probably referring to the master pyraminx and above. Pyromorphics. Pyromorphics. What is a pyromorphics? Those centerpieces aren't flat and have some slope to them, and to match this next piece, they need to move around within the same color face. So you can't just put it together by shape, because you would only have one. Okay. On a pyramid, I'm assuming they're talking about a pyramid, so that would be 3 pieces. 3 pieces interchangeable, might be able to be. It's a mod shape mod of a 4 by 4. Pillow Okay, so I stand corrected. You can have parodies on the center cubes, but not on a Rubik, not on an n by n by n cube. Those ones you can't get a parody. But shapeshifters, other things. Same thing. It's the same thing when I say that there's no real order of operations for Formula A, for an AB method on a cube. But when I get into the minxes, there is an order of operations, because if one of the 2 columns is the center, it changes more than just the 3 pieces. It changes the sides as well. So on the minxes, you have an order of operations. On the cubes, you don't necessarily. So shapeshifters behave differently than the cube. So my generalizations apply to the n by n cubes, and not necessarily the shapeshifters, because I'm not smart enough to do those yet. All right, so yellow came back to the top. I have to check the sides. This one is not correct, so I'm going to apply a formula B to this piece. If I do it so this one is going to come here, so I'm going to rotate the top so I can place displace this incorrect piece into my space that's not correct. So top row, first column, second column. Up, and so I'm displacing one of the yellows back down again, which gives me another piece to place. All right, so orange and green does not have yellow on top, so I move the corners to match, move the cube to match the corners, match the front. It's going in the green direction, so this way. So first column, second column. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and this cube is correctly placed above the orange and green something corner. This has a yellow, this one does not. Bring the corners to match the front color. It's going in the green direction. So first column, second column. Slide. Thank you for clarifying that for me. I've learned something new. And I'm also probably going to look at the... So the pyromorphics, that's a shapeshifter, or is that... I'm going to look for that. I'm going to look at that as soon as I end here. Okay, so still looking for another piece on top that doesn't belong there. Here's the blue and red. Going right over here. So first column, second column, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Now that's what I was saying is that when I use the AB method, on an n by n by n cube, on a standardized n by n by n cube, it's a lot of repetition for me. It's a kind of meditative kind of. I get outside of my brain and don't have to give myself a different perspective. Technically a shapeshifter in a weak sense. It's better to just call it a shape mod. Shape mod of an n by n by n. Okay. All right. So shape mods can have parodies in the middle. All right, corners match the front. It's going to this side. So first column, second column, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Yellow came back to the top, so I check the sides again. These are correct, these are correct, these are correct, these are correct, and the cage is complete. So the corners and edges are all done. I already did the white side first using Formula A. You know, you cannot. There's two ways I can put this green piece up to here. Three ways. I can just muscle it into place like that, and which is fine when you're first starting out of the cube and don't have things you don't want to move. I could use Formula A, but that's going to mess up other sides as well. So, which I did on the white face, but which was move it away, bring the piece down, move the piece in, and back up again. And that doesn't affect the edges or the corners, but it does change your white, change the other sides. So then the next step is Formula B, is where this piece wants to come up here, and so I'm going to use one row, top row, and two columns, and the two columns are where the cube begins and where the cube is going to end. So this cube, I've lined it up here, so I go up, I rotate the top till it's in a different column, and if I go this way, it's the same column, so I can't do that, I have to go this way. So here's my second column, so that's my second up. And because my edges are done, they keep me track on what so I reverse to go back down, and then set the top. So Formula B for all the rest of these pieces, and it's the same as if it, which, you know, so whether you do, so I do my edges last rather than first. And one of the reasons is so that if I do get a parody, where two pieces, you know, it can look like these two pieces, or these two pieces, or these two pieces, anytime where it's just two. So then if there's a parody, like let's say if I have a parody here, I can just do the slight quarter turn, and because I haven't done the centers yet, that doesn't, there's no confusion there where I kind of try to put it back in place. So parodies are undone by a single quarter turn. Let's finish this. Okay, so this orange is going to, I want this red to come down. So I go up, different column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Hi, Sunshine, how are you today? I'm doing so much better. I took an unscheduled vacation because I took a fall. I fell in my driveway and landed wrong and ended up in the ER. So they said I was very lucky. I didn't hit my head, had no concussion, no broken bones. They said go home and rest for 2 weeks. And so I did. My son took me in. I got to be grandma to a charming 3 and 1 year, charming 3 and 1 year olds, and that was fun. So this piece, it goes up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. I'm still a bit sore from the fall, but I have recovered. They said it was just a strain and bruising. I got a bruise this big, for the amount of pain that I was in. You'd think I'd have more to show for it. But incredibly lucky, and I'm recovered, and I'm happy. I am going to take a week off of my streaming because I'm going away from my camera setup. My son and his family are going out of town for the holiday, and I get to go and cat sit for them. So I will be away from my computer from beginning after this show, beginning after this stream until Thanksgiving. So I will mark myself off on vacation for that. I really appreciate you guys hanging in with me while I was AWOL, coming back to see me. Because I missed streaming. It's a lot of fun, you guys, especially when you talk to me. All right, so white's done, blue's done. Okay, this piece goes up to the side, second up, reverse, down, set the top, and keep going. Okay. Up, down, line it up, down, up, down, up, down, and the last one, up, down. So it looked like there was 2 pieces, but 2 of the pieces I moved were the same color, so it was really 3 pieces. So it moves 3 pieces. All right, so that's it for me today. That feels like a good stopping place. I'm Hi, kitty. Here, my kitty. Kitty, say hi. Kitty, say hi. Come on, kitty. All right, you guys go have a great day, and I will be back here after Thanksgiving. Your alg is showing, this alg you're showing is the exact same alg that most speaker reviews for the last 2 pieces of 7x7 and the last 2 pieces of a 6x6 center. Yes, and not necessarily a 7 or a 6, but that's how I came up with that algorithm. I was trying to solve my 5x5, and I didn't know how to do the last steps. So I took the last step of the 5x5, the last step of the center, the 5x5, and I wrote it down, and then I drew it in arrows, and then I said, okay, I know what that does on the centers. What happens if I pick up my 2x2 and I do the same algorithm, but it's working on corners because I don't have centers. And so I did that. I did that algorithm on my 2x2, and I've discovered that it moves the corners around. And so I'm like, okay, so the same algorithm, the same movement that moves the center will also do my corners. And so I'd have these 6 algorithms memorized for corners, depending on whether it's going clockwise or counterclockwise or diagonal or whatever, or whether I don't want to move the edges. I've got these 6 algorithms, and this one algorithm will do that. So I can use just this algorithm for my corners as well. And so then I'm like, well, wait, what happens what does it do when I do an inside and an outside? And then I realized it moved the edges. So I'm like, if this one formula will move centers and edges and corners, how much can I do with it? and I figured out, and so I got my, it just worked with my my bigger cubes, and I figured out, can I use with just this formula? How much can I do? Well, how utilitarian is it? What can I do? And so I kept the formula A to twist the corners around. I didn't know the sexy move at the time. I didn't know it was the inverse of the sexy move, but I did know that it was how you can twist the corners around on the top. So I kept formula A, and I kept the move formula, and I used the second formula, and I just I started calling formula 1 and 2. But that got confusing when I was doing it more than once, and so I switched them to formula A and B, and decided that A and B, the ABCs, is the come down to the very basics of it. It has been said that if you can take a complex thing and narrow it down to two main tenements, two main things, then you understand what you're doing. For example, in the Bible, when Christ was asked about the law, the law is very complex. It's impossible to know everything, blah, 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 blah. And he narrowed it down to two simple, love the Lord, love your neighbor. And upon these hinge everything else you need to know. And so I got down to, not to be sacrilegious, but when I realized that I could do the entire cube with just these two formulas, I was very excited. I was very excited, and I wrote it. I got it written down in paper and pen, and I spent the next 5 years going to different people and saying, okay, here's a cube, here's my book. Pretend I'm not here. Tell me where it gets confusing. Where did I get confused? Where do I confuse you on this book? And so they'd say, well, this kind of here, you need to define this, and this is kind of a little bit confusing. So I would take it and I'd rewrite it, and I'd find someone else. Here's a cube, here's my book, tell me where it doesn't work. And after 5 years, it was, nope, I understood it pretty well. It works. And so then I tried to get an agent to publish it, and they're like, well, okay, but who are you of the people who would be interested in this book that someone would want to, why are you the right person to sell this book, especially when there's 100 books on how to solve the Rubik's Cube. So I took the book and I rewrote it. I had written it from the 3x3 perspective, and oh, by the way, it also solves the 4 and the 5 and everything bigger and everything smaller. And but because it was from the 3x3 perspective, I had massive competition. So I rewrote the book from the 5x5 perspective. Well, it's a manuscript. It's not a book till it's published. I rewrote it from the 5x5 perspective of, here is how a non-cuber can pick up a 5x5 and put it down solved. And and then more alpha testing, more beta testing now, I guess. And then I had it, another 5 years, I had it in fixed format on the internet. My Wikipedia page, my Wix page, not Wikipedia, my Wix page, my Wix website. And so now I'm in the process of trying to find an agent again. And now when they say, well, who are you, why are you the right person to write this book? I can say, well, I have X number of followers, which is not a big number yet. You guys got to get me up. You got to get more followers. But I'm like, you can find me on speedsolving.com. I've got my YouTube. I've got my Twitch stream, and I'm on Wikipedia. I'm listed on Wikipedia as one of the solutions for the Professor's Cube. Because it's a direct solve method. It's not a reduction method, and it's for beginners rather than people who already know how to do the 3x3 and then learning as you get bigger. So because it's a direct solve. Following on my previous question, it's a great way to network with others in the community and will increase. May I ask, have you spent much time in other people's cubing streams? I have not yet. And I absolutely should do that. I didn't see your question. That is absolutely something that I need to do and that I'm looking forward to doing. and I will. But I'm just a baby here on the internet, and I'm still learning what I'm doing. Lots of lovely. I have found that cubers are very, very friendly people. When I meet a cuber in real life, they're just just so friendly, and as I'm putting this up on the internet and teaching people, my family is like, but have you copyrighted it? How do you know someone's not going to steal your thing? And I'm like, these are cubers we're talking about. Cubers are good people, and they're very, very good at giving credit where credit is due. And so, but anyway, so I got it down to these two formulas, and I'm in the process of getting it finalized and getting it into something that people can understand and strangers can, and alpha testing, beta testing. And I kept seeing these spam posts on Facebook or on the cubing communities, right? Where they say you can solve the Rubik's Cube with just these two moves, and they'll have a fake scramble, and they'll just go up and over and up and over and up and over and do it 13 times, and your cube is solved. And I'm like, that is not correct. And so every time I saw it, you can solve the cube, just two formula, two algorithms, and I'm like, someone beat me to it. I knew it was good, and someone beat me to it, and I would just my heart would just drop, because I'm like, I wasn't fast enough, and it would always be a scam, a fake scramble. And so I was so happy that I was finally able to get this up, and. If you network and make friends, it's far more likely that people will recommend you to teach new cubers. Good point, and I will be doing that. Like I said, I'm leaving right now to go cat sit my son's cat while they're out of town, and I'll be back after Thanksgiving, and then I will be able to jump in and do new things. However, I'm also I'm getting ready to sign a lease today, so I'm going to be in the process of relocating too. So I'm not going to be stable in my streaming until I get stable in my housing. So bear with me. Yes, I lurk on Reddit. The cubing places on Reddit, and I'm part of several cubing places on Facebook, so I need to go I need to go find more people, my people here on Twitch. I am set up for Zoom as well, so I can teach it in real life, in real time, up to 4 people at a time, and I'm getting ready to do that. Reddit cubing to be awful and full of trolls. You're probably right. I don't spend a lot of time online. I'm going to, though. I'm going to start. So, Discord servers. That's on my list of things to do. And every time one of you follow me, I follow you back. And so, but I haven't figured out. Oh, that would help me greatly. Yes, I would love to be recommended to some cube streams. Truth be told, I'm so new on Twitch here that I don't really actually know how to follow anybody yet. I only know how to sign in and export. So I'm assuming that I would go to my dashboard and look. I need to be walked through how to do it, because I just don't know what I'm doing yet on Twitch here. I would love your list of cube streams that I could follow on my Twitch. I would love that. That'd be very helpful to me. And again, I followed back the people who followed me, but I don't know how to actually go and watch a stream. I haven't done that yet. I'm just brand new still. So yes, give me links. Keep me in mind. I moderate for quite a few cube streamers. Oh, you really? Okay. All right. My email is abcube.how@gmail.com, and so if you send me your recommended list there, that'd be lovely. Oh, also you can find me on abcube.how, and I forgot, I bought two domains at the same time. I'm also on abcubemethod.com. So I will definitely keep you in mind. Thank you. Yeah, so when I come back after Thanksgiving, I will figure out how to watch on Twitch instead of just streaming on Twitch, because I just I know it's obvious, but I just haven't done it yet. So I'll have to figure that out. Unfortunately, not many Cube streamers are active lately, probably because of where the school season is. Okay. You told me about, so when I did go and I did go watch one of the streamers. So when you told me about Doug, you said that he was in my area in Utah, and I went and watched one stream of his, but I forgot how I did it. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna go, and you guys, thanks for the feedback. And I'm also I'm watching. I'm trying to figure out. I'm watching for new for in competitions in my area. That would be really cool because I would love to just go and meet people and just talk. So that will be great. This is going to be fun. Yes. Yeah, Joey Day. He's really cool. Yeah, okay. Nationals? Okay. Yeah, I will check him out again, and you're going to give me email me a list of people I can follow. This is going to be fun, you guys. All right. Go have a good day. Be nice to yourself. I'll be back in a week. Bye.